Mm-mm-mm. Anthony Joshua, man. Um, Going after a legend for really just constructive criticism. Um, personally, I like AJ. He's not a bad fighter. He definitely got hit with that upset bug versus Andy Ruiz. Probably still the biggest upset of the year. Um, in fact, I think Andy Ruiz got a ESPY for upset of the year. So salute to him. Andy Ruiz is standing his ground in terms of the Saudi Arabia. It was weird that Eddie Hearn had a press conference without either fighter. No AJ, no Andrew Ruiz, and they did a press conference for the fight, so that was kind of odd. Um, so that to me, that was already kind of fishy. I know Amir Khan just fought, what was it, Billy Dib over there in Saudi Arabia, but I don't know if the fight's going to happen in Saudi Arabia. I'm still not convinced that it is. Um, it sounds like Andy Ruiz and Team Joshua are still negotiating. So whatever that PR stunt was that Eddie Hearn tried to pull in Saudi Arabia, I don't, I don't know what that was for. Maybe trying to show that they have the power in the situation, but I'm not sure that they do. Um, the only thing that's been disclosed is that Andy Ruiz is guaranteed to make 9 million, but that doesn't mean that has to be the cap. That he just has to make 9 million and that's it. Joshua, I think he was at least on that Saudi Arabia deal. Eddie Hearn gonna get his 10 mil off top. I think AJ was gonna get 25, 30 mil, pretty much what he's been making. And then Andrew Ruiz would get 9 mil, and the Saudi Arabia in terms of that being at a neutral site, it's not. One, I think AJ has like some type of business deals over there in Saudi Arabia. Two, I know he's had vacations over there for sure. Two, first AJ after he lost to Andrew Ruiz said that he wanted to do the rematch in Madison Square Garden, New York, and Eddie Hearn said that's crazy. Why would you do that? And that's when they tried to have them fight back in the UK. Andrew Ruiz was like, absolutely not, unless you plan on giving me 50 mil. So then they tried this Saudi Arabia tactic, but to me, that's still kind of suspect. No matter where you do it, one, I think AJ should really fight Andrew Ruiz in America, to really prove that you can handle that pressure. Because to me, it's like Muhammad Ali said, sometimes you lose the fight before even before the fight. AJ lost the fight before he even entered the ring, and he looked shook. He looked weird. He looked kind of just like overwhelmed. He looked out of it. Before the fight, I think it was the second assist that was like rubbing his shoulders, trying to keep him calm. The ring walk was weird. It took like an extra 4 minutes. It was just kind of just a little too like he looked out of his element in that fight. You know. Um, so I think for AJ to really, really bounce back mentally, he should fight in America. It doesn't have to necessarily be in New York. It can be in Vegas. It can be in California. I think that's where they should do it. Staples Center, something like that. But um, if you have the fight in the UK or Saudi Arabia, it just shows that AJ, for him to be successful, he has to stay close to home or be in a comfort zone. But the point of being a champion is that you can win wherever, whenever, however. It's okay to take a loss. I'm not mad at no one's mad at that. But it's the way you lost. You lost to a dude that was a late 5 week that had a 5 week camp, fought like maybe a month before, and your first U.S. debut, you get you quit pretty much. Um, that's just, it's all around bad luck. And then on top of that, um, you go after a legend who had to do what you had to do. After he lost, I think the first loss he was to Oliver McCall. And I think he had a couple of bounce back fights, and then he rematched McCall, and then he beat him. You know, a lot of people have said, not just me, other boxing channels, other fighters have said that AJ should take a couple of tune-ups and then rematch Andrew Ruiz, which I still think he should do. You know, especially from what Eddie Hearn and AJ, it seems like they're just rushing it. You know, they're just like they're panicking, they're freaking out. You know, you're just doing a little bit too much. Sometimes in life, you kind of just have to take a step back and just look at the situation that you're in, analyze it, and then go from there. You know, I think AJ should take a couple of tune-ups. I know he originally started that shot at Lennox Lewis, calling him a clown because he suggested that he should get a new trainer, or he himself would be willing to train him. Which I don't think is a bad idea. You know, having Lennox Lewis in your corner. Maybe not so much as a trainer, because in fair perspective, Lennox Lewis has never been a trainer. So for him to have his first fight in that type of magnitude, that would be a lot even for him. You know, it's not easy to be a trainer either. So, but you could have him in his corner. You know, maybe have him just kind of like an extra pair of eyes and ears. Fighters have done that before. You know, John Pascal did it when he had David Ramsey as his trainer, but he had Roy Jones as kind of like a secondary coach. Freddie Roach did that for Tyson Fury when he fought Deontay Wilder. Gave him a couple. Like it's never bad to have an extra set of experienced eyes in the corner. You know, that can never hurt your chances. Especially one who's done it before, like a Lennox Lewis, and in that particular situation, lost to a guy he probably wasn't supposed to, and he had to find his way to bounce back. Now, kudos to AJ for doing the rematch immediately, but I don't know, it all feels forced, from Eddie Hearn, from him, we'll have to see. I don't think it would be a bad idea for AJ to have a new trainer. No disrespect to Rob McCracken. I'm not saying he's a bum trainer, don't know what he's talking about or anything like that. But I think for AJ to beat Andrew Ruiz, he got a jab better. His jab was piss poor. Two, and I think he should jab on the front foot. That was one of the strength of all Emmanuel Stewart fighters. They all had a great. They all could box, but they all boxed well on the front foot. That's what made Tommy Hearns dangerous, Lennox Lewis, even Klitschko when he was with Emmanuel Stewart. Box on that front foot, that power leg. Establish your authority, establish that distance, establish that range. I don't think AJ was ever comfortably able to do that because Andrew Ruiz was coming in pretty freely, especially after the knockdown. So I don't think AJ ever really established his presence in the ring, and a good jab can help you do that. So I don't think it would be a bad idea for AJ to get a new trainer. But it's not always a trainer's fault. Sometimes the fighter just has to do better. Do better, be better. What got AJ into trouble was that he was he went too gun ho to knock out Andrew Ruiz. He admitted as much because Wilder, I think he fought a week or two before and had that explosive knockout over Brazil, a common opponent. And on top of that, Deontay Wilder announced his Ortiz rematch on AJ's fight week. So just a lot of things. It's just a lot. So I think for AJ, I think he really just needs to buckle down, settle down. I still don't think he should rematch. I think it's good. It's a good look that he is doing it, an immediate rematch. But I really think he shouldn't. Just because it seems like everything is going, super fast paced, and I feel he'll probably get knocked out worse. Because last time he kind of just quit, whereas this time I think he might just get knocked out. I could see it happening in 5 rounds or so. So we'll see what happens. Taking a shot at a legend. I get where AJ's coming from because it's like, look, man, it's because, fighters feel, older fighters always try to take digs at him, especially, us millennials, oh man, this old dude, he's just trying to say, well, back in my day, I did so-and-so, but there's nothing wrong with constructive criticism, especially coming from a legend. I believe Lennox Lewis is the greatest, heavyweight ever. I think he could have dominated any era. Rest in peace to the GOAT, Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali's the GOAT because of what he did in and out the ring. But in terms of in the ring amongst all heavyweights, I got Lennox Lewis number one. I think he could beat anybody, any era. Um, and, like Lennox Lewis said, I wasn't worried about being undisputed. I was undisputed, you know, and that's a fact. And he also beat the better Klitschko in his prime. I think that was like 04, 03. I don't know. I was probably 9, 8, something like that when they fought. Yeah, Lennox Lewis was the last undisputed heavyweight champ because the WBO wasn't recognized as a belt until I think Vitali got it in like 06 or something. So, but let me know what you guys think about, kind of the back and forth between Lennox and AJ. Lennox did kind of, I think on Twitter he was like, I'm not trying to take a dig at AJ, let him be his own man and stuff. That's cool. But, his door is always open, which I think it's not a bad idea to have Lennox Lewis even just watch you, watch you train, watch you spar, give pointers here and there. I don't think that's ever bad having a legend, especially in that division, in your own division, kind of give you pointers on how to beat certain fighters. Because Lennox Lewis fought everybody. AJ clearly ducked Wilder. He avoided Tyson Fury. He avoided and ducked Luis Ortiz. They did way too much in trying to protect AJ, but you can't protect anybody in this sport. Eventually, you're going to get got. Eventually, you're going to have to show that either you got it, or you don't got it. And so far, AJ don't got it. He showed flashes versus Klitschko, but he was in his own safe haven in the UK. You can reveal a little bit more when you're on that road. So let's see what happens. But let me know what you guys think about Lennox Lewis, AJ. Do you give AJ a shot to beat Andy Ruiz in a rematch, regardless of where it happens? Drop thoughts, subscribe, stay tuned to the channel, spread the video, share the video. You guys take it easy.